In this next article from New York Post, George Floyd's brother breaks down at Washington, D.C. riots. Quote, I'm so overwhelmed now with everybody here in sight now, end quote. Phineas Floyd told the crowd, quote, I wish George was here, right now, so that he can get some heroin and meth from him. That's who I'm marching for. And the reason why? This guy's a detestable scumsucker, dude. This guy. The whole Floyd family is fucking whack as fuck, dude. Fuck that family, dude. Fuck those people. George Floyd was a heroin and meth dealing, home invading, skis-ball piece of shit. This guy made $14 million on a GoFundMe scam. He can't tell you, no, my brother's a piece of shit heroin addict. I just scammed you out of $14 million. I knew he was a piece of... He knew. This little piece of shit scumsucker right here knew. He knew George Floyd OD'd because he had gone and seen all the toxicology reports. He talked to the people. They didn't like the toxicology report, so they went and they hired a 85-year-old quack doc. If you're unfamiliar, let's look up Floyd on Wikipedia. It'll pop up. Michael Baden, this guy. So here's the second one. Who says, born in 1934, an American physician. And so he had some good qualifications in his background, but this guy's 85 years old. This guy's senile, way more senile than Mr. Magoo, a.k.a. Joe Magoo Biden. So this guy is the host of an HBO show called Autopsy. He does conspiracy theories. He works in, he's a Hollywood person. So he did worked on the O.J. Simpson case. Phil Spector, don't know who that was. Michael Brown, he conducted a 4-hour independent autopsy. And then Michael Brown was the one that was fatally shot in Ferguson by Darren Wilson. Wasn't that one all fake news? That one was fake news. Brown was accompanied by his 24 during altercation ensued when Brown attacked Wilson in his police vehicle and went for the control of Wilson's gun until it was fired. And so the narrative that you heard about Mike Brown was that he was like innocent. Didn't he have like I can't remember exactly what happened in the Mike Brown thing, but they made it seem like it was white cop killed unarmed black man. Wasn't true. He did the Epstein autopsy. So he said that Epstein had been murdered, which is fake news. I don't believe Epstein was murdered. I don't. I believe there's a strong possibility there might be people who engage in sex trafficking who work for the federal government who are engaged in some really, really sketchy shit. Probably it might even be spying for hostile foreign agents. It's highly statistically likely that that's happening. Just the raw statistics of how many sex traffickers there are and what you would need to conceal a sex trafficking network. You would need government connections. And once you start blackmailing people, like Epstein liked to film people having sex with minors, and allegedly, or it happened once or twice, and then people said it happened all the time. I think it was that. I think it only happened a couple of times, but then they said it was like pervasive. That's from my evidence, what I've seen. So then he did the Floyd autopsy, and they didn't like the first autopsy because it said he died of a heart attack and he had a bunch of he had a lethal dose of methamphetamine in his system. So they hired the 85-year-old TV doctor, Michael Baden, to give them the diagnosis they want. They sought. This is what you have to understand. When you're trying to get a lawyer and you want to get off on charges, what you do is you go find if you have money, you go and you find someone who has won by giving diagnoses. that you want to hear. So, or hold on. They've gotten the results in court before. This is why they went to Michael Baden. It's because he's already given these diagnoses. He's 85 years old. He's a quack doc. He just wants to get some stuff for his HBO film, for his show, that Autopsy on HBO. He was just there to get stuff. It's a Hollywood setup. So most of the lefties still think that Michael Baden's Autopsy is legit, but they did a third one, and then 2 of 3 contradicted Michael Baden. They're not doing a fourth. The body's buried. It's done. We were left with the conclusion that the methed out black man had 14 lethal doses of fentanyl in his system. You can't say methed out white dude, or you can say methed out white dude. You can't say methed out black dude, because then you'll offend a African American. They'll cry you rivers full of lip tears. And so that's why I like to say it, because they don't like it. It's true. He had a lethal dose of meth and a lethal dose of fentanyl in his system. Look at the Floyd toxicology report. You can see here in the Floyd toxicology report, methamphetamines. That's almost 2 lethal doses of meth, actually. And then that's almost 14 lethal doses of fentanyl. He was also very drunk, and he had COVID. So this guy, he got $14 million from scam donations. He lied. He knew his brother was a heroin dealer, because it was his brother. And they just scammed the American public. They ripped the American people off for millions of dollars. And then they went and used the money to riot and loot and burn your city down, kill your friends and family, and friends of friends of friends. And so I it's just infuriating. They give this guy lip service because they want to report on anything. This, you have to understand what they're doing. What are they doing here in the RSS feeds with these stories? Why are they publishing tabloid shit in here? Like, this is, somebody said something. It says George Floyd's brother breakdown at Washington protest. They're trying to get you to subscribe to Newsweek. That's the entire point. That's why I do RSS news feeds. It's because it's fake news. This is a tabloid. This is not news. They are marketing it as news. But it's a tabloid. It's just something that he said. News would be George Floyd's brother speaks at Washington, D.C. protest. Tabloid would be George Floyd's brother breaks down in Washington, D.C. protest, because they want you to, or subscribe. They want you to think, I'm on your side. Newsweek is on the side of the black looter mob. So you should subscribe to Newsweek. And if you don't, then you're not going to be informed, and the far right is going to take over. Oh, man. Far right means Nazis and fascists, and you could possibly put the KKK in there. But yeah, I think the KKK would be considered far right. But I don't think that you would consider a racist person far right. Racist person is not far right. Far right means you have a steep social hierarchy. Racism means you don't like a particular race of people. What else?